One of the most common questions I get as a financial planner helping people transition for retirement is just how much cash should I hold? And what's interesting about the answer to this question is not only should the answer be unique to you, but it likely changes over the course of your lifetime as well. Hi, I'm Jordan Kernut, a certified financial planner at Quantum Financial Planning, and we're about to dive into and thoughtfully consider the role that cash has played in your life in the past and just how that might change as you look to enter retirement. So let's go ahead and start off with just what a cash emergency fund is and what it very much is not. So what a cash emergency fund should be for are unexpected expenses. And in your working years, the biggest one that we want to plan for is a sudden loss of income. Other things that could fall into this category are things like a broken car or maybe replacing the roof on a house unexpectedly. But what I want to be really specific about what a cash emergency fund is not is things that can and should be planned for. Saving for the replacement of a vehicle or an upcoming big vacation with the family. These are not expenses that should be included or accounted for when planning your cash emergency fund. So now that we've established what a cash emergency fund is for and what it is not for, let's go ahead and change gears a little bit and talk about how you find the right cash balance for you. And a great place to start is with a rule of thumb, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And this makes a ton of sense while you're working and you're dependent upon that income stream. And in many cases should be even higher than that. Let's think about a small business owner, for example, maybe a real estate agent who experiences a highly variable income based on things like seasonality, market fluctuations, or even changes in their own business. A situation like this could warrant a much higher cash reserve than the simple 3 to 6 month rule of thumb. There are times where 12 months or even beyond could make a ton of sense for someone in this situation. But as a retiree, you're likely in a very, very different scenario. And here's what I mean by that. Your income in retirement is likely extremely predictable. Common sources of income in retirement include Social Security, rental real estate, pension income, or maybe a systematic distribution plan from your investment account. And not only is your monthly income typically more predictable than in your working years, the other big change is the access to the assets that you have available. Most folks are over the age of 59 and a half in retirement. And what this means is they have full access to their retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, without that penalty that comes from an early withdrawal. This further eliminates the need to carry an excess cash balance within your net worth statement. So what does this mean for you as a retiree? And why should it matter? This means that most retirees can and do feel comfortable carrying a smaller emergency fund than what they maintained in their working years. And this matters because this newfound advantage allows you to position your net worth differently, allowing your assets to grow at a potentially higher rate of return. And further, holding too much cash in your net worth statement can actually be really dangerous to your long-term financial plan. Nick Murray famously writes about this concept extensively in his book, Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth. There's just too many hard-hitting quotes for me to share them all here, but the concept rings true. So now that we've defined what a cash emergency fund is, what the rules of thumb around it are, and what that actually means for you, let's dive into a case study and take a look at how we work with someone transitioning to retirement on assessing if they have too much cash in their overall plan and what the impact of finding that right cash balance for them and their situation is in their long-term financial plan. So today we're going to look at Carl Smith. We're going to take a look at his net worth, which is coming in at $3.75 million. You can see that Carl's age 67, and really we're working with a pretty basic net worth statement here. So we've got this broken down into 5 categories. You'll notice there's no red here. That means that Carl's done a really good job of avoiding liabilities. We don't have any auto loans. He's paid off mortgages on 2 pieces of real estate, both his primary home, and it looks like he's got a lake condo here. So let's go ahead and move over to his liquid assets shown over here in the green, and talk about what he's got going on here. So going from top to bottom, it looks like Carl has $350,000 $250,000 in cash in his bank account, probably more than what he needs. Maybe he was a small business owner and for that reason felt like he needed to be more conservative and have more cash on hand, but that's behind him now. So the next thing that we have in Carl's net worth statement here is his brokerage account. He has $500,000. This is invested in a mix of stocks and bonds. And this is something that not only does he have access to today at the age of 67, but he had access to this style of account even before he retired, before he was 59 and a half. And lastly, Carl's 401k. So he's got $1.5 million in his retirement account. Looks like he must have saved diligently over his working years. And this is an account that now that he is retired, he's over the age of 59 and a half, he has full access to this account, although it is taxable on the way out. So now that we know the makeup of Carl's net worth, let's jump over to the retirement planning tab and just see what this plan looks like. So to no surprise, Carl's in a great spot. So right now he's got an 83% probability of success. But one of the things that we're going to go ahead and take a look at, as you might have guessed, is that $350,000 in his cash reserve. In retirement, that's probably going to be a larger dollar amount unless he has something really unique going on. And maybe then that's even a more short-term thing and we hold the higher cash balance until whatever uncertainty we get through that and things are more certain. But in a normal scenario, $350,000 of cash for someone in these circumstances with only a $10,000 a month expense goal, that's a lot of cash. So one of the things we're going to look at is, okay, let's right size that cash reserve goal for Carl. Let's go ahead and take a look at what would be the net impact of reducing that cash balance from $350,000. Let's go ahead and take it down to a multiplier of 6 times his monthly retirement expense goal. So 6 months of living expenses comes out to $60,000. And again, we're going to hold all of the other assumptions constant. Go ahead and scroll up, and it does have a positive impact. So what we're seeing here is that we go from an 83% probability of success with a median ending portfolio value of 1.4 million. That increases by 2 percentage points. We come up to a median portfolio ending value of 1.68 million. And the reason for that is we've moved how the assets are growing. So no longer are they growing at the rate of return of cash, and we've moved them into the rate of return of a balanced portfolio. And only 60,000 rather than 350 is growing at the rate of return of cash. So right sizing the amount of cash that you have in your retirement plan is one of those small tweaks that, when stacked up with all the other ways that we can optimize your financial plan, can really make a difference in the long run. Holding a fully funded emergency fund is a foundational element of any well-built financial plan. And while this does not change in retirement, your thought process around landing on the correct target emergency fund balance for you may very likely change. And this is important because holding too much cash inside of your net worth can be a drag on your overall financial plan. So if you have questions about what the right emergency fund balance is for you, go ahead and scroll down to the link in the description to schedule a time to talk to a certified financial planner about your overall financial plan and just how cash fits into that equation.